Temple has to throw high fastballs. Junior Noboa is a low ball hitter.
Live from Shea Stadium in New York, the Mets take on the San Diego Padres. Mets Baseball 92 is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. By Chemical, intellectual currency, capital strength. By Macy's, we're part of your life. By AT&T, proud sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. By Midas, remember, nobody beats Midas. Nobody. By Mobil, drive your engine clean with Mobil Super Unleaded Plus. And by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. To arrange a thorough test drive, simply phone your nearest BMW dealer. Pitching for the Padres tonight, his first start of the year, Jose Melendez with a record of 4-0, an earned run average of 1.37. And on the mound for the Mets, the White Gooden, his record 2-3 in the year with an earned run average of 3.35.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another evening of Mets baseball. I'm Tim McCarver, along with Ralph Kiner. And, Ralph, if we could put a caption for tonight's game, I guess we'd call it Family Night here at Shea, as Doc Gooden faces his nephew, Gary Sheffield, for the first time ever.
And other than the fact that they might have had a little go together on a vacant lot when they were kids, I guess it is the first time, and they've had a lot of fun talking about it. The doctor said that he'd probably knock him down, then he'd break his bat and all that sort of thing.
A couple of right-handers. Doc Gooden will be opposed by Jose Melendez, another right-hander.
And Jose Melendez, 4-0, and they've all been in relief. His 4 victories have been in relief, and Doc Gooden comes in with 2 losses and 1 no decision in his last 3 starts. So it should be a good matchup. You know, Jose Melendez started last year in Las Vegas and won 7 straight times in Las Vegas. If you win 7 times in Las Vegas, that should win you a lot of money.
That's a lucky number. And the Mets, by the way, speaking of lucky numbers, their 11-game winning streak at home came to an end last night. By the way, we'll be talking to Gary Sheffield in just a couple of moments, right after this from Budweiser. Welcome back to Shea Stadium, and you may have seen this today in Newsday. Doc Gooden saying about his nephew, Gary Sheffield. He'll be facing him for the first time tonight, and he said, and this is a quote, "I want to strike him out the first time, break his bat the next time he's up, and then triple against the pitcher so I can get to third and tell him about it." And we have Gary Sheffield with us, and Gary, now's your chance for retaliation. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I'm not going to let him break my bat. That's the last thing I'm going to let him do. You know, I got to be defensive in the inside pitches because I know he's going to try to get in there and try to come in on the hard. So, you know, I got to make sure at least I just get a hit off him at least.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's got to be a big thrill for you to be facing your uncle for the first time ever.
Yes, it is. You know, it's a thrill to be here now, you know, in front of your family and everything. And now it's reality now that I get a chance to face him in a real, you know, live game. And now I'll just make the best of it.
I would imagine all the televisions will be on in your old neighborhood down in Tampa, huh?
Yeah, you know, I had a lot of friends call me and asking me how you say you're going to pitch me and how you going to hit against him. And I just say I'm going to just approach it like everybody else. And I'm going to make sure I try to at least take him deep a couple times.
Well, Gary, we wish you a lot of luck.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
We'll be right back for the start of tonight's game right after this from Sharp Electronics. For only the second time in Doc Gooden's illustrious career, he is under 500. The other time, back in 1990, when he was 3-5. So Doc Gooden on the mound, and his first batter that he will face will be Tony Fernandez, the fine Padres shortstop. Fernandez off to a good start, 323. As a matter of fact, the first 4 batters in the Padre lineup all batting well over 300. Outside and high, and that's a bad sign. Not trying to read too much into it, but that's one thing that Doc Gooden does not want to do tonight. Be wide to left-handed batters and high, and we'll tell you why. There it is again. 2 balls and no strikes. Doc told me yesterday that he's been throwing across his body, which means that the left foot hasn't been opening up. So therefore, he's been wild up and away to left-handed batters. And he is striving tonight to bring it through like that. Fernandez hits it hard to right, 1 out.
And checking out the rest of the Padre lineup, Fernandez, of course, leading off. Tony Gwynn batting second in right field, batting third and playing third base. Gary Sheffield batting fourth at first base is Fred McGuire, batting fifth. And catching Benito Santiago, batting sixth. The center fielder Darren Jackson batting seventh. Gerald Clark in left field, and Kurt Stillwell batting eighth. The second baseman Melendez, the pitcher, batting ninth.
And Tony Gwynn is the batter. Gwynn only a .214 batter against Gooden lifetime. Unfortunately, he's taken out a lot more on the rest of the pitchers in the National League. And he fouls this one back. He's in the hole, 0-2.
He's really done the job against the others because his lifetime batting average is .328. And so far this year, hitting .343, has 1 home run, 8 RBIs.
One out, nobody on here in the first inning. Just underway. Ground ball to second base. Randolph over, up, throws him out. 2 out.
For baseman number 10, Gary Sheffield.
Mel Stottlemyre and Doc Gooden have been talking about that. I guess it's no different than in golf, Rob. You just try to clear the hips the same way in hitting.
Same way in hitting, that's right. Golf and hitting, you got to get those hips out of the way to get your hands through. And in pitching, you block yourself out if you don't open the hips up. And it takes off some of the speed off your pitch.
Another grounder, this time the left side. Schofield, who has not made an error all year, throws out Gary Sheffield. So the family matchup is advantage Doc Gooden. We go to the bottom of the first right after this from Budweiser. You see Jose Melendez 4-0 record. It's an excellent record. All games won in relief. This is his first start of the year.
And he'll be pitching to this Mets lineup, brought to you by your local Chevrolet Geo dealer. It'll be Willie Randolph to lead off at second base. Batting second, the third baseman Dave Magadan. Batting third in right field, Bobby Bonilla. Batting fourth at first base, Eddie Murray. Batting fifth, the center fielder Howard Johnson. Batting sixth, the left fielder Darrell Boston. Batting seventh and catching Mackie Sasser, his third catching start this year. Batting eighth, the shortstop Dick Schofield, and the pitcher Dwight Gooden on the mound.
Defensively for the Padres, Clark, Jackson, and Gwynn in the outfield. Sheffield, Fernandez, what a slick fielder he is. Stillwell, McGriff, and Santiago behind the plate. So a fine defense behind Jose Melendez, and Willie Randolph swings at the first pitch. Strike one, 0-1. The umpires for tonight's game, Bob Davidson behind the plate, Bill Hahn at first, John McSherry, the crew chief, at second base. Ed Rapuano is at third. No score, just underway. The Mets hitting here in the bottom of the first after Gooden retired the Padres in order in their half. 1-1 to Randolph. Slider catches the corner. Strike 2, 1-2. Jose Melendez, 26 years old. 7 years in the minor leagues before being drafted out of the minors and coming up in 1990 with Seattle. This one hit to right field, and Gwynn can't get to it. So Tony Gwynn had to play the in-between hop, and Randolph leads off with a single.
Well, Gwynn, a point guard in basketball, plays a little double dribble right here. He was drafted for professional basketball, but he made the right decision as he has had some sort of a baseball career. So Randolph gets his 3rd hit on this homestand. He's now 3 for 14, and the Mets have their leadoff batter on.
Mets have not really hit during this homestand. Their pitching has been superb. 11-5 at Shea Stadium this year, but you may remember they lost their first 4 home games of the season here at Shea. Strike 1 to Magadan. Could be considered redundant. Their first 4 home games here at Shea. Where else are they going to play their home games?
Well, the Yankees played their home games here at Shea.
Yeah, that's right. For 2 years, 74 and 75. Nothing in 1. That, of course, was when Yankee Stadium was under repair. Outside to Magadan, 1-1.
That's the old trivia question about Bill Verdon. He managed the Yankees for 2 years and never won a game at Yankee Stadium.
It's a long dry spell. Bill Verdon, now the bench coach with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I believe that's right. Watching several games and seeing Bill sit next to Jim Leland. Fly ball deep to left center, but Jackson, the center fielder, drifts back and makes the catch. 1 away with Randolph retreating to first. Of course, the Mets played their first 2 years in the Polo Grounds. Home to the New York Giants before the Giants went west to San Francisco.
And also the Dodgers won maybe 2 years, but at least 1 year, played some games in Jersey City, the stadium over there, when they were playing also at Ebbets Field.
Dodgers played their first several years in Los Angeles at the Coliseum. Maybe it wasn't redundant. Fastball is outside to Bonilla.
We got you out of that one.
Yeah. Bobby really struggling. 1 for 12 during this homestand, batting .083 during these 4 games. And for the year, it's even worse. 7 for 52 on the season at Shea Stadium.
135 batting average, and he has no home runs here at Shea, and he's driven in just 4.
And Randolph dives back. You got to be aware of that marvelous throwing arm of Benito Santiago.
Man, that throws better on his knees than he does when he's standing up.
Which led us to the conclusion that he prays standing up. Spends so much time on his knees, he prays standing up, right? He is some talent. Pitch to hit, and Bobby foul tips it. 2-1 to Bonilla.
To back that statement up, he's thrown out 35% of the base runners attempting to steal while standing up, and from his knees, he's thrown out 42%.
2 balls and a strike to Bonilla. And another strike. And Bobby Bo caught in between, arguing now with Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire.
Well, it might have been low, but when you're in these batting slumps, it seems like everything goes against you, and that certainly was a borderline pitch, and it went against him.
Melendez does not appear to have a good move to first base. Randolph only a mild threat to run. He has 1 and 2 attempts this year in the stolen base department. Strike 3, and Bonilla livid. And he turned a growl into a smile as only he can do it. 2 outs here in the first.
Well, this one's a little better pitch. It's up a little bit higher and caught the outside corner, and he's not happy with the call, but then realizes, well, we'll get him next time.
So you mentioned Bobby Bone, no home runs here at Shea. Howard Johnson, no home runs here at Shea. Eddie Murray has had 1 home run here at Shea Stadium. So the big 3 with 1 home run make that 2 home runs here at Shea Stadium as Murray takes this one deep, and the Mets are on the board, 2-0 New York. Talk about the lack of productivity, and you get it.
Well, you made that a home run, and it was his second here at Shea, his 3rd on the year, his 401st in his major league career.
Boy, that was a crushed sandwich right there. He crushed that ball. Here's Hojo. This one hit deep, but foul. Got to take the monitor out of the dugout.
All you got to do is talk about it, and it will happen. Build it, and they will come. And Murray gets this fastball, and it's gone. Next on the home run list is Duke Snider with 407, Eddie Murray with 401.
One of 24 players in Major League history that have hit 400 home runs. Hojo has 200, and he swings and misses at the changeup. 0-2 now to Johnson.
That was the 4th home run hit off of Melendez this year, so he has been prone to the home run ball.
Looks like a splitter right there. Hojo stays alive. Still 0-2. Yeah, Melendez gave up 11 home runs in only 93 innings last year.
Incidentally, those 2 RBIs by Eddie Murray ties him with Parker with 1,493 RBIs in his major league career.
33rd place. You think about that. You know, 32 players have more RBIs than Eddie Murray. 32 in the history of the game.
That's amazing.
That is really a man earmarked for the Hall of Fame. Right there. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Johnson. And the splitter gets him, but the Mets on the board with a 2-run homer by Eddie Murray, driving in Willie Randolph. We'll be back right after this from BMW. Eddie Murray giving the Mets a 2-0 lead in the 1st inning. And when the Mets have scored first, they are 17-0 this year. But when the other team has scored first, they're 2-12. So it's a good sign when the Mets score early, as Gooden is high and outside to McGriff. Ball 1. Change up, grounded up the middle, and it's going to scoot through there. Randolph playing Fred to pull. And we mentioned in last night's game last year, the Mets had a shift on for Fred McGriff.
The catcher, number 09.
He does not hit a lot of balls to left field. What a player he is. And the catcher for the Padres, Benito Santiago's the batter with 1 on and nobody out here in the 2nd.
He's the only Padre player in this lineup to have a home run off the doctor. Sitting .241 against him lifetime with 1 home run.
Inside, and Mackey Sasser, his 3rd start of the year, goes out to talk to Gooden. His 3rd start behind the plate, I should say. And it's really unusual to see Mackey back there because Charlie O'Brien caught 70% of Gooden's innings last year. 1 ball, no strikes to Santiago. 2-0 Mets here in the second. Fly ball lifted to right field. Bonilla didn't see it originally, and now he drifts in. Boy, that's got to be a helpless feeling, Ralph, when you're an outfielder and you see the ball go up and you don't know where it is.
Well, this twilight time is when you lose the ball when it goes up because the lights haven't taken full effect. And this ball goes up, but he doesn't see it. You usually get some help from your infielder, and there it is from Randolph. He's pointing to it. So now Bonilla picks it up, and he finds it.
He's saying if another one goes up there, I hope I see that one. It's a good thing that ball had hang time, but you could see Willie Randolph pointing up in the air and showing Bonilla where it was. Here's Darren Jackson, the center fielder. Jackson, a little guy, but with a lot of power. 21 home runs last year, 4 this year, and the inside fastball misses. Ball 1.
2 for 3 last night and hit the ball very hard. He's had a slow start. He has had 4 home runs.
He went too far. 1-1 to Darren. Unusual that Jackson, with 21 home runs last year and less than 50 RBIs. Only 2 other players in Major League history have done that. Art Shamsky did it back in 1966. Gary Matthews did it for the Cubs in '86. Get 20 home runs or 20-plus home runs. There are 20 RBIs right there. So
not many when you don't get the home run. He had a good home run ratio. Home run every 17.1 at bat. Griff had a home run every 17 at-bats. Howard Johnson a home run every 14.8 at-bats.
Curveball foul back. Jackson left his shoes to hit that hanger, but he fouls it back. Still 1-2.
So his home run ratio last year was 4th in the National League. Kevin Mitchell had the best home run ratio, home run every 13.7 at-bats. And he's really struggled at Seattle, which is a home run hitter's park.
Fly ball, left field. Howard Johnson. Now, it looks like Hojo has a tough time seeing the ball, and he makes the catch at the last minute. 2 out. So if you hit the ball in the air for the next few innings, run it out because you might leg a hit out of it. Bonilla first, and now Johnson.
Number 24, left fielder, Gerald Clark.
Well, again, you see the infielder pointing to where the ball is, so you know that they know it's tough to pick up, and you could tell by that move that Howard Johnson didn't see the ball at first, but he had a lot of hang time, too, so that helps.
Gerald Clark, the left fielder, is the batter. Good fastball. That's the best fastball of the night, thrown by Doc Gooden. Clark with good power. As a matter of fact, the Padres with power throughout the lineup. They lead the National League in homers. 0-2 to Gerald Clark.
They also lead the National League in team batting average at 262, 30 points higher than the New York Mets.
Yet here the Mets are 19-14, due largely to their pitching. Padres at 500.
Another interesting thing, Tim, is the Mets have outscored the Padres. They've scored 138 runs to the Padres 127, and the Padres are leading in team batting average and also in team home runs. Mets do lead in 2 base hits. Now they're second. Actually, St. Louis went by them last night.
Cardinals only a half a game behind New York, and Clark goes down on strike. Facing Gerald Clark, Doc Gooden really aired it out. I mean, he threw the ball hard. That's more like the Gooden of old. He has a 2-0 lead, middle of the second. We're back after this from Mobile. That was the...
fielder, Darrell Boston.
Well, we said it was family night here at Shea with Doc Gooden facing Gary Sheffield. And look at that little angel with her panda, her Mets panda that she brought out with her dad, we assume. Darrell Boston, the batter here in the second with the Mets on top 2-0 and the slider in there. Strike one to Boston. Darrell, the only other Met who has homered in the first inning this year. He did it off Kyle Abbott back on April 15th. Eddie Murray, the other, his 2-run homer here in the first inning, giving the Mets a 2-run cushion. 1-1 to Boston. A ball and 2 strikes to Darrell. Held on to by Santiago. It looked like another splitter. And that's the one pitch that appears to be giving the Mets trouble, especially their left-handed batters. As you look at Greg Riddick, the manager of the Padres.
Here's the catcher, number 2.
The fellow in glasses to his left is Jim Snyder. And the fellow on the step waving, Rob Picciolo. He's in charge of defense. And then Mike Rourke, the pitching coach. Mackey Stasser, the batter. Mackey has done exceptionally well, I should say, against right-handed pitchers throughout his career. And he lifts this one down the left field line. Strike one.
301 batting average against right-hand pitching lifetime. First appearance as a starter in this series. Was a pinch hitter last night and had a base hit.
Slider grounded foul. 0-2 to Stasser. And it looks like Mackey broke his bat. No, he didn't. He started wandering over near the dugout. I thought he'd open the door for him. Open the gate. Isn't that the line? Wow.
That might be why he's playing. Jeff Torborg, the manager of the Mets, is very much into computers and stats.
Fly ball to center. Over is Jackson. In is Jackson. And Stasser is out. 2 outs here in the second. Mets on top 2-0. Charlie O'Brien. Looks like he has a stopwatch there. And it looks like he's trying to learn how to work it.
You got to wind it first.
Dick Schofield, the shortstop. High, ball one.
Santiago, a lot like Tony Pena with that catching position that he assumes, sticking that leg out. Pitchers like to have the catcher down low.
Well, Lindez certainly has Santiago down there, and the slider is in there. 1-1 now to Dick Schofield. Paul Gibson and Dave LaRoche doing a little gardening out there. I think they're looking at the tomato plant that should be ready in, what, about a month or so?
Not with this weather. It's going to be a couple of months.
Still 2-0 New York after 2, and we'll be back right after this from Anheuser-Busch. Eddie Murray staking the Mets to a 2-0 lead with a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first inning. We're in the third, and that's only appropriate to use that word with Dave LaRoche, the bullpen coach, staking out his tomatoes, huh?
He really hammered it.
Murray got a fastball that he hit, and so does Kurt Stillwell to lead off the third, but it's foul.
Well, the Mets walked Stillwell twice intentionally last night. He was 2 for 2, so the walks worked for the Mets as they got to the pitcher, batting behind him. But Stillwell, who started his career with the Cincinnati Reds, having resurgence here with the San Diego Padres.
Going to Kansas City in the Danny Jackson trade. Boy, Danny Jackson, what a horrible start he's had with the Cubs. 0-5 with Chicago this year. Cubs in last place in the National League East. Breaking ball for a strike, and a good one. 0-2 to Stillwell.
They're 9.5 games back of the Pirates. Of course, the Pirates are the best record in baseball, 21-9. They lead the Mets by 3.5, the Cardinals by 4, and then a big drop-off. Montreal by 7.5, the Phillies by 8, and the Cubs by 9.5.
Another curve, back to good. Ron Darling won the Gold Glove several years ago, but nobody feels his position on the Mets staff better than Doc Gooden. 1 out.
An outstanding athlete, and this ball is hit pretty sharply. But his quick reactions, and he gloves it. He and Saberhagen both are outstanding.
Yeah, Brett is a terrific fielder. John Franco, a good fielder. David Cohen, a good fielder. Jose Melendez, I beg your pardon, takes the strike. 0-1 to the Padre pitcher. It's 2-0 New York here in the third. You mentioned Pittsburgh, Ralph, and they are trailing Atlanta 2-0 with the Braves batting in the bottom of the second down at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. Still 0-2 to Jose Melendez. This is the ideal type of evening for Gooden to pitch. I guess you could say that about any evening. He is 94-28 at night and 40-28 in the daytime. Curveball locks Melendez. 5 in a row now, retired by Gooden.
Well, he's got to complain to the pitchers union about that pitch. Not supposed to throw curveballs like this to pitchers. Big curveball and his second strikeout.
Watch that back sway and those legs turn to jelly, huh, Ralph?
See you later. The parts are leaving before the ball got there.
So Melendez is out of there on that wicked curveball. 2 strikeouts now for Doc. The Padres with 1 hit. And Tony Fernandez, the batter. He has to jump rope out of the way. Getting away from that fastball at the knees.
Good dance step right there.
1 ball, no strikes to the Padres shortstop, Tony Fernandez. Here's a strike. 1-1.
Tony's had 1 hit against Dwight Gooden, and he is 1 for 11 in his career against him.
Curve is low. 2 balls and a strike. You can see Gooden driving when you think about just that picture that you get of Doc and compare him to last Thursday in Cincinnati. You can really see that left shoulder dropping and that body driving. Not there, you couldn't. But he appears to have, for the time being, solved that problem of throwing across his body. Good curve there. Doc covers first, and Murray shuffles it off to him. 3 up, 3 down for the Padres in the third. It's still 2-0 New York after 2.5, and we're back after this from Lexington.
Hi, kids. I'm Jeff Tolborg, and if you're under 14 and a Mets fan, be sure to sign up for the Modell's Team Mets Club. Members receive special items, including a Team Mets batting glove. You can sign up at any Modell's sporting goods store. Call 1-800-ASK-MODELL for locations near you, or send a $7 check or money order payable to the New York Mets to this address. Please include your name, address, telephone number, and age, and allow 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. This season, your Team Mets Club membership card gets you a 10% discount on your purchase at Modell's, so join now.
Well, one more game remaining on this homestand, and fans, there are still plenty of good seats available for that last game of the series with San Diego. The action starts at 7:40 tomorrow night, so come on and cheer on as the Mets battle Tony Gwynn, Fred McGriff, and the rest of the Padres. You can purchase tickets at Shea Stadium's advanced ticket window the day of the game, and also at the day of the game sales window. To charge tickets by phone, call Ticketmaster 212-307-METS. Or for more information, call 718-507-TIXX.
Doc Gooden leads it off for the Mets here in the third inning. And the fastball from Jose Melendez is outside, ball one. Great pitching matchup, too, tomorrow night.
David Cohn on the mound for the Mets against the left-hander Bruce Hurst. Oh, a good time to come out here at Shea, and the weather's supposed to be even better than it is tonight, and this is our best night.
1-1 to Gooden. Slider grounded to his nephew. It's like a picnic out here. But Gooden is no picnic to hit against. One out as Gary Sheffield throws out Doc Gooden.
So he threw his uncle out.
Unc. You know, the first time I heard the shorter word uncle was on the Great Gildersleeve radio program back in the late 40s, when Leroy, who was the nephew, always referred to his uncle, the Great Gildersleeve. I don't know what his first name was. I guess the Great. But he always referred to him as Unc. And I thought that was a very funny thing. I was a wee tot, about 8 or 9 years old, and listened to that show religiously as Willie Randolph takes the ball from Melendez. 1-0 to Willie.
So you remember radio, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes. Gangbusters in Peace and War. People Are Funny.
How about Lum and Abner?
Lum and Abner, yeah. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Amos and Andy.
Ball and 2 strikes to Willie Randolph.
We used to come home every day from school and listen to Jack Armstrong, the All-American boy.
I remember him. Still around after the war.
Now pitching in the American League.
Mike and the Mad Dog around then?
No.
Oh! 2-2 to Randolph. That was close.
Now, this is right in the head region here. Randolph does the right thing. He backs away from that ball. You got to get away by turning away.
Fly ball, right field, playable. Tony Gwynn in his tracks. 2 outs here in the third inning. And we, of course, are talking about Mike Francesa and Christopher Russo, who had the show from, I guess, what, 2 to 7 o'clock in the afternoon on WFAN. Listen to Mike and the Mad Dog often driving into Shea. And our flagship station on radio is WFAN.
Well, the only problem with that show is they don't really have an opinion, do they?
1-0 to Magadan. There's Bob Murphy. 39th year of broadcasting.
31st year.
31st?
Oh, you mean in his entire career? Yeah, you're right.
Career,
I thought you were talking about here, yeah.
31st with the Mets, 39th year of broadcasting.
Going back to the Red Sox in Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah. Back in the early 50s. It's 1-1 to Dave Magadan and Murph's buddy, Gary Cohen, sharing the game on WFAN. 2 balls and a strike to Magadan. Splitter low, 3-1. Eddie Murray's 2-run homer in the first inning, driving in Willie Randolph and himself. The only scoring thus far. We're in the third. 2 outs, nobody on. 3 balls and a strike to Dave Magadan. Field, Gerald Clark on and snow cones it. 7 in a row now retired by Jose Melendez. After 3, it's 2-0 New York, and we'll be back after this from Volkswagen.
For a $10 donation to the Leukemia Society, I'll send you my personally autographed baseball card. Please write to the Leukemia Society, 245 Fifth Avenue, New York, 10016.
Well, the fans enjoying it here at Shea tonight. It's a lovely evening. It's 2-0 New York, and in to call it for you here in the 4th, Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Tim, and Tony Gwynn will lead it off, and we just got a note from the company that has published his book here, Tony Gwynn's Total Baseball Player. It's a book that he has out on how to play baseball, co-authored with Jim Rosenthal, put out by St. Martin's Press. And he shows how the book reads right there as he lines it into the right field corner. It'll be at least a 2-base hit. And he goes into second base with the double. So Tony Gwynn on the first pitch doubles to right field. And that puts the time run at the plate.
He shows you how to turn on an inside fastball, ripping it down the right field. A man who uses all parts of the field in which to hit. He is some hitter and has been for a long time, 10 years as a matter of fact.
4-time batting champion and a chance to do it again this year as he came into this game hitting .343. That'll bring up Gary Sheffield, who saw one pitch his first time up and grounded out to short. Sheffield, the nephew of Dwight Gooden. And he gets a curveball this time on the first pitch for ball 1.
Facing Unk. By the way, we found out the first name of the great Gildersleeve was Throckmorton. I'd call him Unk, too, if I had a name like Throckmorton.
Throckmorton Gildersleeve.
Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's fouled back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sheffield last night 1 for 5 against the Mets, hitting .310 on the year coming in to this ball game.
You just don't run into too many Throckmortons in your life, Ralph.
I used to know him. He was quite a guy. He used to play in the Bing Crosby golf tournament. A member of Lakeside.
The great Gildersleeve.
Yeah, with that great laugh.
Oh,
and that
wonderful.
deep voice.
Yeah.
There's the good curveball there, and Gooden really broke off a curveball to his nephew.
See Gary waving that bat like that, and he takes the curveball. Going to come inside here.
1 and 2, and he comes inside, and it's lined to left field. So Sheffield gets around on a good pitch. It was right on the inside corner, and he has a base hit off of his uncle, and he has bragging rights right now.
Hey, you may remember last night's broadcast when Doc was running that hand right in toward his chest, saying that they were going to pitch him inside because of that little wiggle with the bat. Well, Sheffield turns this one around, I'll tell you. That's a tough pitch to hit right there.
That's a good short stroke on that one.
Yes, sir.
So that puts runners at first and third. Sheffield, the run at first, represents the tying run. No one out, and the batter is Fred McGriff. So Gooden in trouble for the first time in this game. as the Padres have a runner in scoring position. Griff a single his first time up, and he leads the league in RBIs. He takes the fastball for ball 1. Also leads in home runs. 10 home runs, 28 RBIs. 1 for 3 last night. Hitting .325 for the year. And the pitch, again, the fastball. This one is in the strike zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. Griff, number 1 in home runs, RBIs, total bases, and slugging percentage. Jeff Torborg. A casual conversation with Charlie O'Brien, one of his catchers, and the pitch back, the fastball again. 2 balls, 1 strike. Padres have won 3 of their last 4 to get to 500 on this road trip. They're 3-3. And a swing and a foul tip into the glove. 2-2.
Good fastball from Doc on the outside corner. Good fastball, good cut. It's a great matchup here. Gooden and McGriff.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count. And it just misses. Another fastball. That fills it out 3-2. The Mets are set at double play depth. Sheffield, runner at first base, could be going on this pitch. Kind of a gamble to have him running here. If it's a strikeout double play, you lose the advantage of scoring the runner from third on an out. So the odds are he will not be going. Gooden tries to decoy. Sheffield doesn't fall for it. He says, "You can't do that to me, Uncle." 3-2. The runner does not go. It's ball 4. Now the bases are loaded with no one out. So Gooden in deep trouble. His first walk, and he'll be working to the catcher Benito Santiago as his next batter. Santiago flied out to right field his first time up. Hitting at .213 for the year with 2 home runs. 12 runs batted in, and Gooden goes to the curve and gets a swinging strike. Mets leading 2-0. We're in the top of the 4th inning. The Padres with the bases loaded and no one out. Curve down to third. They have a shot at 2. They get 1, don't get the other, and a run scored. So a run back in for Santiago as Wynn comes in to score from third.
I think Dave Magadin's play was to come over and touch third base. That way you keep the runner off of third with less than 2 outs. And another thing is Willie Randolph so intent on turning the double play, and Gary Sheffield had gone down because of the throw by Magadin. Watch Sheffield. You see, he had gone down. If Randolph come to third base, had he seen Sheffield go down, he could have gone to third base. But the key to that play, in my opinion, when you have to do that much before a ground ball, go over and step on third and take the lead runner off the bag. Now they still have a runner at third and less than 2 outs.
Had a good shot at that play at third, and might have got the double play by throwing across after tagging the bag. And a little check swing, and Gooden holds the runner at third, picks up the out at first. So a good job there as Gooden quickly and alertly checks the runner back to third base and picks up the out. So Jackson on the check swing and out on 1 pitch. On the play, Santiago down at second base. And that'll bring up Gerald Clark, who was struck out. One or two that have been struck out by Gooden in this game. Struck out his first time up, swinging at a fastball. And he gets a curve on this pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. Clark hit him 172. He has 4 home runs. Was 0 for 3 in yesterday's ball game. One strike to count. And the fastball that time fouled back for strike 2. Clark originally selected by the Dodgers, but didn't sign for them. He has 2 brothers that were first-round selections. One by Detroit and one by Milwaukee. And the 2-strike pitch, a curve that's full foul. So the count stays at strike 2. Clark hit over 306 years in the minor leagues. Last year with the Padres, he hit 228 in 118 games. Got injured here at Shea Stadium. Fouled it off, and the count stays at strike 2. That time Gooden with a fastball out over the plate.
That was that same pitch that Clark struck out on his first time up.
Last year, Clark injured an Achilles tendon here and went on the DL. And this ball popped up and playable for Schofield. The catch retires aside. 1-run scoring on 2 hits, 2 left, and the score at the end of 3.5 innings. The Mets 2 and the Padres 1. And here's a word from Nobody Beats the Wiz. Bottom of the 4th, the Mets leading 2-1 as they come up. And a reminder, this game is brought to you in part by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers. For everything in home electronics, music, and movies, nobody beats the Wiz. And by the United States Postal Service, proud to be an official sponsor of the 1992 Olympic Games. Bobby Bonilla will lead it off. Mets leading by 1. Bonilla struck out his first time up. Got caught looking at a fastball. In fact, he took the last 2 pitches for strikes in his first at bat. First pitch here, a ball, and the slider back is fouled back. Bonilla on this homestand, 1 for 13. And he looks at another fastball. 1 and 2. Jose Melendez, his first start of the year, and he came in with a record of 4-0. Gave up a 2-run home run to Eddie Murray in the first inning to count for the Mets runs, and that fastball a ball, and it's 2 and 2. Bonilla's average now down to 235. And he goes after the fastball, fouls it into the stand. Two balls, 2 strikes to Bonilla.
I would think that Melendez will continue to stay away from Bonilla until he shows that he can hit that pitch. He was called out on strikes his first time up on a fastball away. And
he goes away with a split finger fastball that time, and it fills the count at 3 and 2. Bonilla second in the National League in walks. He has 25. And he hits it hard, and a good hit off the 3-2 fastball to right field.
Take a look at the Macy's National League scoreboard. Philadelphia over San Francisco 2-1 in the 4th inning. The Dodgers trying to break a 4-game losing streak. Down are ahead of the Montreal Expos 2-0 in the 4th. Atlanta behind Tommy Glavine. Tommy Glavine already has 3 shutouts on the season. Atlanta leading Pittsburgh 3-0. Chicago at Houston, no score. Same Cincinnati at St. Louis.
And the batter for the Mets is Eddie Murray, whose 2-run home run gave the Mets a 2-0 lead in the first. Bonilla moved back at first base with the toss over there. Murray's home run is 401st in his major league career. He is second among active players for the most home runs in Major League Baseball. Dave Winfield with 412. Murray, the second most prolific home run hitter as a switch hitter in baseball history, second to Mickey Mantle. The 1-0 pitch, and he takes high for ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Career lifetime batting average 307 with 12 home runs against the Padres. Studious coaching staff, managers, a school teacher. The 2-0 pitch. Ball 3, 3 balls, no strikes.
Manager of the Padres, Greg Riddick, from Greeley, Colorado. Little tiny town in southwestern Colorado, and it has 2 representatives on the Major League managing positions. Tom Reynolds of the Expos, also from Greeley, Colorado. That's amazing. A little town like that, you have 2 Major League managers.
Well, they must have gone west. Just like Horace said. 3 balls, 1 strike. That's not Horace Stoneham we're talking about.
He did.
And there's ball 4. Horace went west a little bit later.
On the Toyota American League scoreboard, the Yankees over Seattle at the stadium just across town. That's the 3rd time this year the Yankees and Mets have played in New York on the same day. No score, Oakland at Toronto in the 4th inning. 2-1, Milwaukee over the White Sox in the 2nd. 1-0, the Red Sox over the Twins at the Metrodome in Minnesota. Cleveland and Kansas City, no score. The same with Baltimore, Texas. Detroit at California later on.
And Howard Johnson, the batter, with runners at first and second, no one out. Johnson struck out his first time up. And he takes for ball 1. Howard showing some signs of breaking out of his hitting slump. 5 for 12 in his last 12 at-bats. He has a modest 4-game hitting streak going, as have a little conference on the mound. Problems with his knees, and he's taken off a few. One ball, no strikes. Howard Johnson, the batter, hitting .214 on the year, and he has a big swing and no contact, 1-1. Howard with 4 home runs, 23 runs batted in. out of play as Jose Melendez challenges Johnson, and the ball foul off.
Well, you can go to a guy's strength once you've shown him your other stuff. He threw the splitter, then he threw the slider. And now you have the hitter thinking you're going all off-speed stuff, and that's when you can pop him in his power alley, and that's what Melendez did then. Probably go back to the splitter here.
Struck him out with that splitter the last time he was up. And the 1-2 pitch, and he got the splitter, but it's one-handed in the right field. They'll have to hold the runner up. Gwynn gets to it quickly, fires it to the plate, and the Mets have the bases loaded with no one out as Johnson singles sharply to the right.
Tough pitch, and Hojo doing a fine job reaching out, and he did indeed one-hand that ball. Tony Gwynn charging the ball, and it's a good thing Bonilla was held up at third base by Mike Covey.
So now the base is loaded, and Darrell Boston, the batter. He, too, was struck out his first time up, and Melendez got him with the splitter. Action in the bullpen going for the Padres. And the first pitch, a slider, catching the inside corner, called strike. Rich Rodriguez throwing in the bullpen for San Diego. Mets leading 2-1. They have the bases loaded, no one out, batting here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Boston with a .253 batting average. Greg Riddick appears to be calm enough. And the one-strike pitch, and the fastball high, and it's 1-1. Bonilla, the runner at third base, singled on the 3-2 pitch. Eddie Murray, the runner at second base, walked and moved to second on Johnson, single to right. Slider blooped into center field. It will be a base hit. One run will score, and that's all. As a throw comes in from Jackson.
I'll tell you, if that throw's on line, there could have been a force out at home plate. That was close. I don't know what Bobby was doing. He went back to tag up. But now once he sees it drop, he comes home, and this is a close play. You see the ball going right in front of him. Had that throw been on line, it could have been a forced play at home.
Murray had to hold up. He was the runner at second base, so he goes to third. The bases are still loaded, and the batter is Mackey Sasser. And Sasser hits it high in the air in foul territory, and it is playable, but it drops. Oh, boy. So do three players.
Oh, boy.
Three players go down as they all tried to get to it, and one of them appears to be hurt. It looks like Sheffield.
Looks like he tripped over the right leg of Gerald Clark, the left fielder. Clark appears to be slightly injured, but Sheffield is down, in obvious concern from Doc Gooden. Oh, boy.
Well, Sheffield's mother, Betty, is in the stands here tonight to see her son play. She's got to be really concerned, as it appears that he is hurt.
Here it is again. Sheffield to the left of your screen. And he just trips over the right leg. And he went down hard. Looks like his right shoulder. He may have landed on his right shoulder. Oh, boy. They did stay away from the stands. That's one good thing. You could see Sheffield extended there. No, it was the left leg of Gerald Clark. over which he tumbles.
So, Dwight Gooden looking down into the left field area as Sheffield, his nephew, is now trying to make a move, and it appears he's got that knee or leg in the position there where it evidently is not the shoulder, but it's the right leg.
Looks like the shin, the right shin. Gary is rubbing his right shin. Obviously, if it's the shin, or it would be a lot better off than if it's a knee or an ankle, especially a knee. Sheffield with all sorts of tendon problems in his wrist last year with the Milwaukee Brewers. It limited his playing time. Tough to break that shin bone. That is a very strong bone, as we all know. And if it's not broken, it's certainly bruised.
Evidently, he's going to stay in the game, and a relieved uncle right there. Appears he is going to stay in the ball game, so a little less concerned now, though he is limping, as you can tell.
Take one more look at it, and Gerald Clark appears to be all right, and this was a pretty nasty spill. They were not going full speed. They did try to hold up. Tony Fernandez coming in, and even he trips, but he avoids the collision. But Sheffield appears the one that's hurt the most, but he appears to be all right. He's still in the ball game.
So back to the action. A one strike count on the foul ball by Mackie Sasser. Bases loaded. Mets leading 3-0, and the fastball missing. 1-1. Sasser flied out to center his first time up. Blocking the ball by McGriff to save maybe a run, as he can't hold on to it. Murray scores from third base. Everyone moves up, and that should be scored as a base hit. And a run batted in.
Slider hit to the right of Fred McGriff. He dives. He's a fine fielding first baseman. The ball hit the heel of the glove. And this inning reminds you of McRae, not Rodney, Gordon, the star of Carousel, as the Mets keep coming round and round and round. Still nobody out, bases loaded.
One base at a time, as the Mets have scored 2 now. Still have the bases loaded. And the batter is Dick Schofield. Dick rounded back to the pitcher, his first time up. 5 batters have batted, no one out here, and the pitch to Schofield swung on the miss. Good slider. Schofield, 217 batting average, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs.
We've gotten the radio shows. I thought we had to go to movies and Broadway plays.
Carousel with Gordon McRae.
Gordon, a huge baseball fan and a friend of Ralph House, as a matter of fact.
Good friend of mine. I knew him very well. There's a drive foul. Outstanding golfer. One time was an assistant professional golfer before he made it big. member of Lakeside out in Burbank, California. 2 strikes to count to Schofield. Padres still playing their infield back. Looking for that double play, and Schofield pops it up in foul territory. It'll be playable. So Schofield, the first out of the inning. Santiago making the play, and that'll bring up Doc Gooden with the bases still loaded.
The pitcher, number 16, Doc Gooden.
Gooden grounded out to third. A good play in the ball by his nephew, Gary Sheffield, in his first at bat. Doc was hitting .500 coming to this game with 7 hits and 14 times up. And again, the infield back for the double play with the exception of the first baseman. And the first pitch, a fastball foul back out of play. Gooden with a career batting average of .197. That's the best by any Mets pitcher in their career with the Mets. He's had 4 home runs and driven in 46. This year he's had 1 RBI. Slider hit the third and a chance for 2. They just do not get anybody as the throw is wild. And on the play, Johnson scores. So Howard Johnson, the 3rd run in the inning, and the Mets now lead it 5-1. And it should be a throwing error against Sheffield.
And an RBI for Doc Gooden. Near the line, Gary makes a good play. He gets rid of it quickly, but it's tied a second baseman, Kurt Stillwell. Stasser going hard into Stillwell and into second base. Mackey's safe. Everybody's safe. Looks like Stillwell came down on the left shin of Mackey Stasser, but Mackey appears to be all right.
So it is scored as an error against Sheffield. A run batted in will go to Gooden, his 2nd of the year, and the bases are still loaded. And the batter is Willie Randolph, the 8th man to bat in this inning. Mets now leading 5-1. Randolph 1 for 2 in tonight's game. And a good block on that ball by Santiago.
Crossed him up right there. That's a frightening feeling when you call a breaking ball and you get the fastball. You could see Santiago leaning out over the plate. Watch how he just leans. Probably called for a slider and oops, sticking back to the inside. And he was barely able to hang on to it.
Lucky to get the glove back. As he was anticipating that ball to move to his right. So it's ball 1. Mets with the bases loaded. Mackey Stasser, a little bit of a limp on second base.
Yeah, I think Stillwell came down on that left shin of Mackey Stasser.
And there's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. This time the fastball. Charlie O'Brien, one of 2 catchers that the Mets have left. Todd Hadley, the other. 1-1 the count. And the fastball inside, 2-1. There's Todd Hadley. Slider hits the shortstop. This should be a double play. There's one. And the other, and they get out of the inning. But before the double play, the Mets come up with 3 runs on 4 hits, and they leave 1 in the score at the end of 4. It's the Mets 5 and the Padres 1, and here's a word from AT&T. Mets 5, the Padres 1. We go to the top of the 5th inning. And the Padres regrouping here as they count their wounded. Sheffield worked on by the trainer. He injured that shin bone when he collided with the left fielder, Terrell Clark, and also in that collision, Tony Fernandez. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises, L.P., solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Sterling Doubleday Enterprises, L.P. and WWOR-TV is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, is likewise prohibited. 37-36, the Bulls over the Knicks as that game progresses. And you look at the leadoff batter for the Padres, Bert Stillwell. Stillwell bounced back to Gooden on a pretty hard hit ball his first time up. Gooden throwing him a curveball and then retiring him on the throw to first base. And a fastball for ball 2. Make that a strike as Bob Davidson made the call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stillwell hitting .295. Late swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Padres had a good chance to score more than 1 in the 4th inning, but couldn't get it together as they did score. And the Mets, leading by 1, came up with 3 in the bottom of the 4th inning to make it a 5-1 game, and the fastball gets it. Gooden's 3rd strikeout, and we'll now have a pinch hitter.
Batting for the pitcher, Jose Melendez, number 8, Gary Pettis.
So the pinch hitter will be Gary Pettis. He has been up 9 times so far this year with 1 base hit, hitting .111.
Released from the Texas Rangers earlier this year. Formerly, he was with the Detroit Tigers. He's been around. Gary Pettis, 11 years in the major league.
1 for 5 as a pinch hitter, and he goes after the fastball and fouls it off. Also breaks his bat. Doc Gooden trying to pick up his 3rd victory of the year to even his record at 500. Pettis last year with the Rangers hit .216. Started his major league career with the California Angels, then played for Detroit, and lastly played for the Texas Rangers before being picked up by the Padres.
Outstanding defensive center fielder, but has had problems with the bat throughout his career.
And he gets a good curve. That won't do anything for his batting average. Strike 2 the count. And he grounds it weakly to Schofield at shortstop. Schofield quickly in and then over 2 men away. Schofield, an outstanding defensive shortstop, and he's certainly proved that here with the Mets.
Go back to Jim Fregosi, the manager of the Phillies, when the Mets acquired Schofield. Dick opened his eyes very wide and said he can really catch the ball. And boy, has he shown everybody here at Shea in his 31 games that he can flat catch the ball.
Has not made an error in his last 31 games so far, including this one. His longest streak without an error. 67 games without making an error. That's with the California Angels. And now Fernandez, who's an also a great fielding shortstop, best of anybody in the history of the game at this point, with a count of 2 balls and no strikes the batter. Fly ball to right. chasing Bonilla back. And the Padres go down in order. The score at the end of 4.5 innings, the Mets 5, the Padres 1, and here's a word from Bud Dry. Well, the Mets leading by a score of 5-1. A new pitcher in for the Padres, Rich Rodriguez, taking over. Formerly in the Mets organization, traded to the San Diego Padres by the Mets. He has a record of 2-1 with no saves, an earned run average of 2.03, working 26 2/3 innings. Rich Rodriguez. And as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning, a man who in his playing days was affectionately known as Cabezon. Cabezon. Tim McCarver.
Better be affectionate if your nickname is Cabezon.
No, I was told by an authority that it can mean one of two things. It can mean that you're exceptionally bright, smart, or it can mean you also have a big head.
I think it means the latter. I think mine was intended for the latter part of that comment.
No, it means you're very smart.
Oh, Julian Javier, the father of Stan Javier. That's what Julio used to call me all the time. And a shortstop for the Padres, whose nickname is Cabeza. One of so many great shortstops are from the little town of San Pedro de Macorís. As Dave Magadan takes the fastball that's low, ball 1. 5-1, Mets on top.
It would mean something else if you were called Cabeza Repollo.
Uh-oh. This one deep to center, and back is Jackson. Jackson, an excellent center fielder, one away. What does that mean?
Cabbage head.
De pollo, huh?
De pollo. Cabeza de pollo. Tonight, Budweiser's Met Dream sweepstake contestant is Nelson Gibbons from Stormville, New York. Nelson, you have until the end of the game to call 201-348-4462 in order to win a behind-the-scenes tour of Shea and 4 box seats. Remember, Nelson, you must call 201-348-4462 before the end of this game in order to win your prize. And good luck from Budweiser, the Mets, and Channel 9.
Bobby Bonilla singled to open that 4th inning, and he scored a run. 1-1 now to Bonilla. Batting right-handed, hitting only 196 for the year. About 80 points higher as a left-handed batter. Foul ball. 1-2 to Bobby. 5-1. New York on top here in the 5th. 6 hits for the Mets, 3 for the Padres. Mets trying to even this series at 1 as the Padres winning last night 4-2. Andy Bennis getting the win. Good splitter, and Bonilla is down. 2 outs here in the 5th, and that'll bring up Eddie Murray. Rich Rodriguez from Downey, California. He attended the University of Tennessee. He's 29 years old, and he has done a whale of a job for San Diego this year. Only 2 earned runs in 18 1/3 innings. This is his 10th appearance. Eddie Murray, who had a 2-run homer in the 1st, just misses his 2nd one of the game. Just under it a bit. Still 5-1 Mets after 5. We're back after this from Citibank. Had a rubber hammer. Ball and no strikes to Tony Gwynn. We're in the 6th, 5-1 New York. Gwynn doubled and scored a run in the 4th and grounded to 2nd. Foul away, 1-1. You hear, Ralph, you hear pitchers talk about working a lineup, and you hear the big innings during a game, and obviously all of them are big. Gooden with the most pitches in the inning in which the Padres scored. But this is a big inning for Gooden right here because the Padres with the meat of their order up. If they're going to come back, this is their best chance to do it. A strike to Gwynn, 1-2.
Now, they're very heavy in the middle of this lineup. They got some strong hitters. Leads the National League in hitting with a .262 team average and home runs with 28.
Tapper back to Doc. So Gooden gets the leading lady here in the 6th inning. 1 out. Big play in this game was that check swing by Darren Jackson, the center fielder, when he tapped back to Gooden with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out.
And it was on the first pitch. Right here, he gets Tony Gwynn on a good curveball, and Gwynn just tries to foul it off and puts it into play. It was in the 4th inning that Gwynn led off the inning when they scored the run and had their one scoring threat.
Gary Sheffield had his mind made up to swing at that pitch regardless of where it was. He was looking fastball, got it, and fouls it back. 0-1 to Sheffield. He tried to hold up, but he fouls it off. 0-2 to Gary Sheffield.
This is another good fastball inside. They're trying to crowd him with the ball with that little cock of the bat over the top. It makes him vulnerable to fastballs high and tight.
They're going away this time, and the curveball tapped back to Gooden. So Doc, with 2 comebackers, retires the first 2 batters here in the 6th inning, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Fred McGriff. Ralph, can you believe a 35-year-old man would still be chewing bubble gum? Vinny Sinopoli, our stage manager up in the booth.
Now that I know who it is, yes, I'd believe he'd be still chewing bubble gum at 35.
He's 35 years old tonight. We caught him picking out on bubble gum earlier in our broadcast. There's Barry Foote. He always gives the sign. To Mackey Sasser, and McGriff fouls it back. Not only that, he still reads the funnies. There's Vinny right here, 35 years old tonight. All right.
How about a happy birthday?
That's such a terrific job for us, as do all our crew members with WWOR. And the curveball's a strike to McGriff. 0-2. A strong inning for Doc so far.
And here comes a birthday present.
Fred Wilpont passing even more cookies for the birthday boy. All right.
Now, if you can eat those cookies and chew that gum at the same time. That's coordination for you.
Chew gum and eat cookies, huh? And walk at the same time. McGriff swings through it, and it's Gooden who gets his 3rd assist of the inning. How about that? How many times do you see a pitcher get a strikeout and an assist on one play? Padres go in order. Still 5-1. New York, Doc's happy, and so are the Mets. They should be. We'll be back after this from American Airlines. Rich Rodriguez will try to keep the Padres in this game, and the Mets will try to blow it open. It's 5-1 New York. The Mets with 2 in the first inning on a 2-run homer by Eddie Murray, and then they scored 3 runs in the 4th inning before the Padres could record an out. Doc Gooden pitched out of trouble in the 4th inning, holding the Padres to only 1 run, and he has a rather commanding 5-1 lead. He has been throwing the ball very, very well this evening, giving up only 1 run and 3 hits through 6 innings. Howard Johnson leads it off for New York. He has singled, scored a run, and struck out. Hojo 1 for 2 on the evening. Check swing, fouled off. 0-1.
Howard with a base hit his last time up. Extends his hitting streak to a modest 5-game streak.
splitter is low, 1-1. How many pitchers have we seen over the last 3 or 4 years with relatively standard equipment, fastball, slider, fastball, curve change, and go to the minor leagues or in the minor leagues and come up with that split finger fastball? And it's been a renaissance of sorts for pitchers of that ilk. And there's the splitter. It's low, 2 balls and a strike to Johnson.
The splitter sort of like the slider was when it came into vogue. Everybody started throwing the slider, and it brought a few careers back, just like the splitter has.
Two and two to Hojo. Mets play tomorrow night. David Cohn and Bruce Hurst will be going at one another. The last game of this 6-game homestand, then an off day on Thursday. And the Mets head to the West Coast to play 3 in L.A., 3 in San Diego, and 3, make that 4 in San Diego, and 3 in San Francisco. Grounder to third, Sheffield. Kind of drops down when he throws. We saw him do that last night a couple of times. 1 out. 30 years ago today, what happened? Mets won their first doubleheader in their history versus Milwaukee, winning both games with 9th-inning home runs by Hobie Landreth and Gil Hodges.
There's a lot to that doubleheader win in Milwaukee. Craig Anderson won both games of the doubleheader in relief. He never won another game in his major league career after that. And I'm not sure, but I think he lost 19 consecutive games after that.
That sounds about right. I think you're right.
It was somewhere near that total. Now, after that doubleheader, the Mets were scheduled to go to Houston for the first trip ever to Houston. The plane was delayed. We went to the airport, went to a hospitality room, and finally took off about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a day game doubleheader on Sunday in Milwaukee. We flew to Fort Worth and landed there because Houston was fogged, and we finally got to Houston about 9 o'clock in the morning, and Casey had not slept a wink in the whole trip, and we all went to the hotel.
Again, Sheffield, and he hurries to get Boston. 2 outs.
And as Casey was going to his hotel room in that hotel in Houston, he said to the man that was in charge, he says, "Tell them reporters that I'm going to my room, I'm going to be embalmed." And that was the start of the Mets' long, long losing streak, because that doubleheader put them fairly close to 500, and it was the high point of the season at that point. And then from there on, the Mets just went right downhill, ended up winning only 40 ball games for the year, setting an all-time record for losses of 120.
Mackey Sasser drills one deep to center. Back is Jackson near the track to haul it in. So Rodriguez came in the 5th inning. He has retired 6 in a row. After 6, 5-1 Mets. We'll be back after this from Mountain Dew. 5-1 Mets over the Padres here in the 7th, and in to take you through the rest of the way. Back in once more is Ralph.
Okay, Tim, and Steve Zabriskie dropping by to say hello. Used to work with us here and doing some work on ESPN. Of course, a lot of other activities going to, and his fantasy camp being honored here tonight before the ball game. He puts on the Mets fantasy camp, and they do a tremendous job. Those guys are amazing. They go back time after time. They have so much fun.
Unbelievable. And the most popular room in those fantasy camps is the training room.
You have to get a ticket like in a grocery store.
Right.
Well, we're in the top of the 7th inning. Mets leading 5-1, and Benito Santiago batting for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2. Doc Gooden has given up 1 run on 3 hits. Working on getting his record even at 3-3, as Tim pointed out. He's only been under 500 twice in his major league career. And he has the best winning percentage in the history of Major League Baseball. You know, that's really an amazing accomplishment. His winning percentage, 705. The closest to him, 690. David Faust, who pitched back in the 1800s with a record of 147 wins and 66 losses, has a 6.901 winning percentage. And Whitey Ford is third in the list with a 690 winning percentage, 236 on the win column, 106 in the loss. And that ball is a fair ball. It'll be at least a single. Boston over a quick turn. The throw stops Benito at first base. So a good job by Darrell Boston on the hard smash right over the bag at third.
Magadan had a chance, but it was a very difficult in-between hop with which he had to cope. Santiago really turning on this fastball. Watch that in-between hop. It looks like it bounced under the glove, and it's a single for Santiago.
His first base hit, the fourth off Gooden, and it will bring up Darren Jackson, who is 0 for 2. Magadan, playing at third base, has been alternating back and forth between first and third, and the first pitch, ball 1. Jackson flied to center in the second and was a big out in the fourth inning. Runner in scoring position, and he bounced right back to Gooden. And the runner could not score. That time, the Mets were leading 2-1. A fly ball to left field. Again, it's Darrell Boston, and that's one away. Santiago back to first base. That'll bring up Gerald Clark, who is 0 for 2.
Mentioned about Gooden's winning percentage, and it is remarkable. Best in baseball history for pitchers who have worked over 1,500 innings. I think one of the most remarkable things is one point we mentioned earlier.
There's another one over the bag. It will probably be a 2-base hit. Santiago going over to third. The throw to second not in time, and a stand-up double for Clark.
So Gerald Clark picks up his 4th double of the year. The fastball inside. That means 2 inside fastballs, and 2 right-handers have pulled the ball. So this could very well be the last inning for Doc Gooden. He is scheduled up second, and Paul Gibson and Jeff Ennis are up and throwing. But we mentioned earlier, Ralph, about the disparate records of Doc Gooden night and day, and it's been the difference in night and day. He's won 54 games more at night than in the daytime, while losing exactly the same amount, 28.
That is a disparity. It's just amazing that there is that much difference. And now working with runners at second and third, and 1 man out, and Kurt Stillwell, the batter, he takes the first pitch for strike 1. Stillwell called out on strikes his last time up. 0 for 2 tonight. Doc has an even better record here at Shea Stadium than he has in his overall career. 7.60 percentage here at Shea. 76 wins, 24 losses. And the fastball again, it's fouled off. So the count strike 2. Azukar is the on-deck batter. Six in the third innings. 5 hits, 1 run so far, 1 walk, 4 Ks, but in trouble now with runners at second and third and 1 out. And there's a base hit. It'll score 1. Boston fields it. They hold the runner from second at third base, and it's now a 5-2 ball game, and that ball hit hard. So Gooden being reached pretty hard here.
Well, that was a mistake right there. That's just too good a pitch with the count 0-2. And Doc with a pitch that's up in the strike zone. It's just too fat a fastball with the count 0-2. If if a guy hits the ball off the end of the bat or a flare, he gets jammed or something like that, there's not a lot you could do about that type of hit. But you don't want him to put the good part of the bat on the ball with the count 0-2.
So Oscar Azokar will be the batter. And the Mets taking some time here. They have their bullpen going. And they have a left-hander throwing to the bullpen. And with the batter announced in the ballgame, Jeff Torborg going out to the mound. In the San Diego bullpen, Tim Scott is warming up, and he should be the new pitcher coming in for them. But the Mets going to their bullpen, and Doc Gooden leaving the ballgame after 6 1/3 innings. So far charged with 2 runs on 6 hits. He struck out 4 and walked 1. But the runners on base are his responsibility as he leaves the ballgame on the winning side. And the drive to the bullpen is brought to you by your Tri-State GMC truck dealers.
Doc Gooden leaves the game with runners at first and third and 1 out here in the 7th inning. He has a 5-2 lead. And I think that entered Jeff Torborg's thinking. The 2 right-handed batters getting around on the ball, hitting it by Dave Magadan. And then the 0-2 fastball had to upset Doc a little further. Paul Gibson's in the game, the left-hander, and because of that, Greg Riddick, the manager of the Padres, has gone to a right-handed pinch hitter.
A familiar name, a familiar face. Tim Tuffle will be the pinch hitter. He's 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter this year. Overall hitting .256. He has 11 base hits. And he will be the pinch hitter with runners at first and third and 1 man out in the top of the 7th inning. And he represents the tying run. And he's hit some big pinch hit home runs for the New York Mets in his past career here. Gibson's first pitch, a fastball, and it's called no swing. So it's ball 1.
Some guys like the ball down, other guys like the ball up. Tim Tuffle likes the ball inside. He is a terrific inside hitter.
Tuffle, a free agent at the end of the season, re-signed with the San Diego Padres. Traded to the Padres by the Mets, and a swing and a miss, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Last year with San Diego, he hit .223 with 11 home runs, 42 RBIs. With the Mets, he hit .118 with 1 home run in 20 ball games. Traded for Gary Templeton. And he pops it up, and it will be playable on the infield. So Willie Randolph makes the catch, and Tuffle unable to get the runner in from third with 1 man out. That'll leave it up to Tony Fernandez. When Tuffle was traded to San Diego, in his first at bat, he hit a home run for the Padres last year. So Fernandez representing the tying run, but with 2 men out. 0 for 3 tonight, hitting .314 on the year. Fernandez drove in just 38 runs last year, a career low. And he takes low for ball 1. Not a whole lot of difference between his batting right-handed and batting left-handed. .278 is a right hand hitting against right-hand pitching, and .261 against left-hand pitching. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Ground ball chopped over third. It'll drive in a run. Coming in to score is Gerald Clark, and now the Padres have their 3rd run in the ball game. That'll be charged against Gooden. And they have the time run at first base for Tony Gwynn.
Tony Fernandez this year, you mentioned his lifetime average. This year he's batting over 400 as a right-handed batter. 46 at bats, too. That's a pretty good sample.
So Gooden now charged with his 3rd run, and that'll bring Tony Gwynn to the plate. And he takes the fastball for a called strike. Gwynn doubled and scored in the 4th inning. The first run for the Padres, they picked up 2 here in the 7th. Mets leading 5-3. Gwynn is 2 for 8 in this 2-game series so far, and he fouls that one off. Strike 2. Gooden had a 2-strike count on him his last time up, and he bounced back to Gooden. Toughest man in the National League to strike out, Tony Gwynn.
And that's because he adjusts with 2 strikes. He starts thinking the other way. If you're the defense here, with 2 strikes on Tony Gwynn, you ought to move forward to the left side because he has more of a tendency to move. And you can see Darryl Boston moved by Mike Cubbage.
And that pitch is just outside. It's 1-2. So Boston is over closer to the line now with a 2-strike count. Although Johnson's about straight away in center.
Yeah, outfielders call that playing the count. And the pitcher's ahead in the count. You have a tendency to play the hitter more the opposite field.
And it's back to the middle, and it's stopped by Randolph. He can't make a play, but he saves a run as he makes a diving stop and keeps the ball in the infield. And Stillwell had to stop at 3rd base.
Great play by Randolph, saving a run for the time being. Watch the dive. You know, it looked like Willie hesitated there just for a second. And the reason for that, he thought that Gibson may have gotten a glove on it, and the ball could have been deflected back into his position. And I think that hesitation forced him to make the diving stop instead of fielding the ball on his feet.
And with the right-hand batter coming up, another pitching change as we see Jeff Ennis come into the ball game. And while he comes in to take his warm-up pitches, here's a word from GMC Trucks.
Mets still leading with the bases loaded and 2 out. They lead 5-3. But here's what we were talking about with Willie Randolph. Watch how he is moving toward the ball, but he hesitates there. He kind of comes in, trying to hold his position, thinking that Gibson may have deflected the ball. And because of that, Willie has to make a terrific stop of that ball hit by Tony Gwynn. Fine play by Willie Randolph to save a run.
So Jeff Ennis, a new pitcher, 4-1 in the year with no saves, an earned run average at 2.76. He's worked 16 in the 3rd innings, giving up 17 hits. This will be his 17th appearance on the mound for the Mets this year. Last year he had no wins and no saves in 69 appearances for the Mets. Also coming in, a new battery mate for Ennis. It's Todd Huntley. Todd will bat 9th in the batting order, and Ennis will bat in the 7th position, replacing Mackie Sasser in the batting order. So Gary Sheffield, who's 1 for 3, will take on against Jeff Ennis, the tough side armor. And the bases are loaded. Time run is at 2nd with 2 men out, and the half swing, a strike and strike 1.
Fastball swing and a slider is what this is. Gary went up there looking for the fastball. He got the slider and couldn't hold up in time.
So Ennis with a 1-strike count, pitching to Sheffield, the 8th batter to bat in this inning. And it's hit hard to 3rd. A great play by Magadan. He throws to 2nd in time, and the inning is over, and he saves at least 1 run with that play. What a play by Dave Magadan to take a base hit away and keep the ball game at 5-3. The Padres with 2 runs in the inning. And the score at the end of 6.5 innings, it's the Mets 5, the Padres 3, and we'll return right after this message from Hyundai. Hey fans, a third New York Mets clubhouse shop is scheduled to open this month at 30-93 Steinway Street in Astoria, Queens. The new clubhouse shop will have the same great selection of Mets merchandise, novelties, and game day memorabilia as the other stores, which are located at 575 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan and the Menlo Park Mall in Edison, New Jersey. And from now through May 31st, the clubhouse shops are having a cap sale. Buy 1 cap, get another cap at half price. Be sure to visit the New York Mets clubhouse shops.
Also, fans, don't miss out on Cons Frank's baseball card night, coming up on Monday, May 25th, when the Mets host the Cincinnati Reds. Everyone attending the 7:40 game will receive a special set of full-color baseball cards featuring all your Mets favorites, courtesy of Cons Frank. So call Ticketmaster at 212-307-METS to charge tickets by phone, or you can call 718-507-TIXX for more information. The 92 Mets hardball is back. It's been back tonight, and the Mets will try to get those 2 runs back that they lost in the top of the 7th inning.
And they'll be hitting against Tim Scott, who has a record of no wins, no losses, and no saves. His first appearance with San Diego this season. And he pitched for San Diego in 2 games in 1991.
Scott was called up when Larry Anderson, the zany one, was put on the disabled list for the 2nd time this year. Called up 10 days ago.
And his first batter, Dick Schofield. He takes a strike for strike 1 off the fastball. Schofield in this game 0 for 2. The Mets leading by a score of 5-3 as they bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And a ball call. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Scott from Hansford, California, and his pitch back is a called strike. 1-2. Spent 7 seasons in the Dodger organization and was with Las Vegas and the Padres in 1991. And no pitch as time is called. Was signed as a minor league free agent by San Diego. And it's hit hard to the third base side, fielded by Sheffield, and the throw for the out. So Sheffield picking up the first out in the bottom of the 7th inning, and that'll bring up Todd Hundley.
Batting the 9th slot, number 9, Todd Hundley.
Todd batting for the first time. Came into the ball game in a double switch. Hitting .161 for the year. He has 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 9 hits so far this season. 2 of them home runs. And a swing and a miss. Good change up there, and it's strike 1.
When a player signs a professional contract, the quickest that he can become a free agent is after 6 years. If he goes to the big league club for 6 straight years, no minor league ball, then he is eligible for free agency. So they installed a similar plan for minor leaguers who played 6 straight years in the minor leagues, and it's really a good a plan that would give a minor league pitcher or player a chance to sign with another organization. If he can't make it with one, then he is free to negotiate.
And there's a fastball for a strike. And Hundley back to the bench. That keeps you from being buried in one organization.
Yeah.
You get with an organization with a lot of talent, you can never break into the major leagues in some circumstances, and you can get away from that organization and maybe get a chance in the majors. So 2 men away, and that'll bring up Willie Randolph, who is 0 for, make that 1 for 3. Randolph, a base hit to lead off the ball game in the first and was aboard when Eddie Murray put the Mets up with a 2-run home run, his 401st in his major league career. 2 balls, no strikes.
Tell you one thing, if you're a guy who steals pitches, Tim Scott would be an easy guy against whom to steal them. He does not go to his glove. Look at that. He just goes right to the glove and throws the pitch.
Takes his time with the ball exposed, and
Yeah.
you can see him with the naked eye either gripping the ball differently on different pitches. He's been around a long time. I'm amazed that they haven't corrected that. Look at that. Foul ball off, and the count 2-2.
One of the reasons that pitchers hold the ball in the glove is to get leverage. Another reason is to move the ball around, change the grips on the ball. But Tim Scott throws the ball with the ball exposed without putting it in his glove. It's a very unusual style of working. He'll go right into his motion right there.
And you can read the grip right there, and that one cross seam, and he throws it, and it's a breaking ball. 3-2 now, the Randolph. On deck batter Dave Magadan as the Mets lead 5-3. 2 men out, bottom half of the 7th. Goes the fastball, and Randolph walks.
Take a look at the Macy's National League scoreboard. San Francisco has come back against the Phillies 7-4. They did it last night, too, and won that game. 2-0 Dodgers over Montreal in the 8th. 4-2 Atlanta over Pittsburgh in the 6th. No score. Chicago at Houston in the 6th inning. Cincinnati at St. Louis 3-3 in the 5th.
So the batter Dave Magadan, Dave 0 for 3 tonight. He's hit the ball well 2 of the 3 times. One time robbed of a base hit when he hit a line drive to left that was shoestring by the left fielder Clark, and that pitch, ball 1.
But he contributed mightily in that last inning when he saved this game from being tied.
Great defensive stop. And then making the good throw for the force play at second. Again a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes, and Santiago back to the mound. Jose Melendez, the pitcher record on the losing side, and for the Mets on the winning side, Dwight Gooden. Mets leading 2-0, then 2-1, then 5-1, and now 5-3. The 2-0 pitch fouled away, and it's 2-1. Atlanta leading Pittsburgh 4-2 in the top of the 7th. Mets trailing Pittsburgh by 3.5 games. Pirates didn't play yesterday, and the Mets lost, so they lost a half game. Two balls, no strikes. Make that 2 balls, 1 strike, and the pitch for the runner going is fouled again. So Randolph running with the pitch, and he'll go back to first.
Santiago out to talk to the pitcher again, and he will wear a path out there. He's been out there more than a handful of times tonight. I think one of the ways to speed up the game is to limit the number of times a catcher can talk to a pitcher. I mean, when you think about it, The hitting instructor never grabs the hitter out of the batter's box and takes him and has a conference with him. So why should anybody be allowed to have a conference with the pitcher? Most of those conferences are worthless anyway.
Usually just delaying tactics. And the 2-2 pitch bounce to the shortstop, Fernandez. He has to go to first for the out. And he picks up the out at the end of the inning. So a walk and one left, and the score at the end of 7. The Mets 5 and the Padres 3. Now here's a word from Bud Light. Top of the 8th inning, the Mets leading by a score of 5-3, and a second of 3 with the Padres. Tomorrow, the final game of this homestand, 6-game homestand, and David Cohn will be on the mound for the Mets. Game time at 7:40. Tickets are available. We invite you to come out here to Shea Stadium, join in on the fun. David Cohn will be working against Bruce Hurst, the veteran left-hander. And for the Padres, Fred McGriff will lead it off. Jeff Ennis missing with his first pitch, a fastball for ball 1. McGriff 1 for 2 in this game with a walk. And batting for the first time against Ennis, and the sinking fastball again. It's ball 2. Pitch hit to the first base side. Good hard hit ball to Eddie Murray, who takes it by himself and 1 away.
Toyota American League scoreboard. The Yankees over Seattle 3-1 in the 7th inning. Toronto has come up with 3 runs. They lead Oakland 3-0 in the 8th. Milwaukee over Chicago 3-1 in the 7th, and 6-1 Minnesota over Boston in the 6th inning. 1-0 Kansas City over Cleveland in the 6th. Baltimore, Texas tied, no score. And Detroit at California in a little while.
And the batter will be Benito Santiago, 1 for 3. An idea there, but it didn't work, and it's strike 1. Santiago is single in the 7th inning, 1 for 3, and later on scoring one of the 3 runs charged to Dwight Gooden, who's on the winning side of this game, having worked 6 in the 3rd innings, and the Mets leading when he left the ball game. Good sinking fastball, strike 2. Santiago hitting .218 so far this year. In his rookie year, he had a 34-game hitting streak, the longest hitting streak in the history of the National League or the American League for a rookie. Does he swing? And it's no swing. First base umpire Bill Hahn says 1-2.
I think Santiago may see that pitch again, that slider. That has, as we've said on previous broadcasts, that has been the big difference in Jeff Ennis this year.
And it was that little slider. Didn't slide much, but it's popped up. Howard Johnson puts it away, 2 men away. So Santiago back to the bench, and that'll bring up Darren Jackson, who's 0 for 3. Mets leading 5-3. 2 men out, top of the 8th inning. Ennis with a chance to pick up his first save of the year if he can finish this ball game, but the Mets have John Franco in the bullpen. They use him as a closer, and this is a close game. It's not decided yet. There's his strike.
Yeah, Jeff Torborg's from that school of thought, the Bobby Thigpen school of thought. Bobby Thigpen, the White Sox short reliever, saved 57 games 2 years ago under Torborg, and I don't think Jeff will ever go into the 9th inning of a close game and not have Franco in there. Everybody else are setup men.
1 ball, 1 strike. There's that slider Tim was talking about. It's really helped him. 1 and 2.
Jeff throws 2 types of sliders to get it to go up a little more. He just gets under it a little more. Well, that was vintage slider right there.
And he comes back with that sidearm pitch, and it's a sinker this time, and it sinks out of the strike zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mets leading by 2. And that slider again. This one top to third. Tough play for Magadan. He can't get it off. So it'll be an infield base hit.
Not a lot that Dave can do with this slider. Jackson just gets a piece of it, taps it down the third baseline, and Magadan has to eat it. That seems like a harmless base hit, but now the Mets have to go on the line with Magadan at third base and Gerald Clark the batter.
I think Clark represents the time run as the throw goes over to first base. Clark with 4 home runs this year, and there you see the defensive alignment of the Mets. Guarding against the extra base hit at third. Outfield deep, also guarding against the extra base hit as the time run is at the plate. Clark a double right over the bag his last time up, and this time he pops it up on the second base side. It's playable. Willie Randolph puts it away, and in the inning, 1 hit and 1 man left at first to score. At the end of 7.5 innings, it's the Mets 5, the Padres 3, and here's a word from Pro Step. Well, the family of Budweiser Bears is proud of all the friendships they've helped make, so when they remind you to know when to say when, it's all in the name of friendship. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Mets leading 5-3. Bobby Bonilla will lead it off. Then he takes a fastball for strike 1. Tim Scott on the mound. Third pitcher used by the Padres. Bonilla facing Scott for the first time. 1 for 3 tonight. And the fastball high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Working in the 7th inning, walked 1 batter, the only one to reach first base, and the fastball fouled back. 1 and 2. Final game of the homestand tomorrow night. David Cohn against Bruce Hurst. Game time 7:40. Tickets are available, so if you haven't made your plans for tomorrow evening, try Shea Stadium. Ground ball hit slowly out to the shortstop. Fielded by Fernandez. The throw to first for the out. That will bring up Eddie Murray, whose 2-run home run put the Mets up in the first inning. He also has walked and scored and popped the short. Murray now with 3 home runs on the year and 24 runs batted in. Hitting .278. Home run, a line drive to right field off of the starter Jose Melendez, the 4th home run that he's given up this year. Murray now at 401 career home runs. One and one. Next on the home run list, Duke Snyder with 407 career home runs. Fastball fouled back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dave Winfield with Toronto now. The most home runs by an active player, 412. Count stays at 1-2.
Atlanta still holding on to that 4-2 lead over the Pirates. That game in the top of the 8th inning down in Atlanta. And Houston has come up with 2 over the staggered, I should say. There's the Atlanta score. Houston has come up with 2. As you see, the Dodgers still 2-0 over Montreal. Giants over Philadelphia, but Houston leading Chicago 2-0 in the 7th.
Little pop up into shallow right field. Here comes Gwynn, and he'll get to it and makes the play. So 2 men out as Murray goes back, and that'll bring up Howard Johnson. Looking ahead to the 9th inning, Padres will have the bottom of their batting order coming up. It'll start with Stillwell, and then I'm sure a pinch hitter for the pitcher, and then the top coming up with Tony Fernandez. Franco still soft tossing in the bullpen for the Mets. Johnson with a base hit and 3 at-bats. And the curveball for ball 1. Howard hitting .218. Modest 5-game hitting streak going with his base hit tonight. 2 balls, no strikes. Tim Scott working for the Padres. 3-0. On deck batter Darrell Boston. Three-0 pitch. It's ball 4. So Johnson walks. And that'll bring up Boston. Only the 3rd walk the Mets have had in this game. 2 of them by Tim Scott. So Johnson at first base with 2 men out, and Darrell Boston the batter. Paid crowd here this evening, 18,439 total in the house, 19,532. As the manager of the Padres says he wants a left-hander in. So a pitching change as Tim Scott leaves the game after working 1 2/3 innings. And a new pitcher coming in before he takes his warm-up pitches. We'll step out right here for a word from Midas.
Pat Clements, a left-hander, is brought into the game by Greg Riddick. It's a good move because there are 2 outs here in the 8th inning with the Padres trailing by 2, and he brings in Clements as much to hold Johnson close to first base as he does to get Jeff Torborg to change hitters, and he really accomplishes both things. Pat 1-0 on the year. The Mets are going to pinch hit Chico Walker, and in the process, Clements can keep Johnson close to first base. He has a good move to first.
Short time with the Padres last year. He pitched 14 1/3 innings, had a record of 1-0. Had surgery during the season last year. He also was at Vegas for 11 ball games. Veteran left-hander. One time with the Yankees, and Johnson with a short lead at first base, and he draws a throw. Chico Walker, pinch hitting. And another throw to first base. Walker hitting 100 with 3 hits and 30 at-bats.
Jeff Torborg hoping, if nothing else, that Chico Walker can get on so Bill Pacoda can pinch hit for Jeff Ennis. Otherwise, if the Padres do come back to tie it, then Franco would be your leading hitter, or the leadoff hitter, in the bottom of the 9th inning. If you clear the pitcher, then you can leave Franco in for a couple innings.
Walker also hitting 100 as a pinch hitter. He's 1 for 10 this year. And Clemens finally throws it to the plate, and it's lined to right field for a base hit. Johnson the second and holding there as Tony Gwynn gets to it. And that's with runners at first and second.
So Jeff Torborg gets his wish. Even if the Mets do not score in this inning, this is an important hit because of the way we just explained it. Because in that double switch that was performed by Jeff Torborg in the 7th inning when he took Paul Gibson out of the game, he inserted the pitcher in the 7 hole, and now you can clear the pitcher, and if the Padres do tie it in the 9th inning, then Franco will not be leading off in the bottom of the 9th.
And Pacoda takes the first pitch for a called strike.
All you're trying to do is give yourself every edge and think of every possibility. Give yourself every advantage as you can, and Jeff has done that with the moves he's made tonight.
Pacoda as a pinch hitter, 0 for 3. Hitting 196 on the year, counting all of his plate appearances, and that pitch in the dirt to throw to first base, but Walker back easily. Clements, the 4th pitcher used by the Padres. There goes Johnson, a big jump. Santiago throws to second, and he can't get the runner behind him. So a double steal pulled off by the Mets.
And if you're the trail runner in a situation like this and you've got Santiago behind the plate, you really have to bust it to second base, and Walker does. The throw a little high, and Chico sliding in under Kurt Stillwell. Johnson's 10th stolen base of the year, and Walker's first as a Met.
And now the Mets with runners at second and third and 2 men out. 2-1 count and a drive down the left field line. It's extra base hit. Johnson scores. Walker scores, and the Mets lead it by a score of 7-3 as Pacoda gets his first pinch hit as a pinch hitter. It's a little redundant, first pinch hit as a pinch hitter, but it certainly serves the purpose.
Well, I tell you, it's not redundant as far as the Mets scoring 2 runs here in the 8th inning. They love that type of redundancy. Once and then again. 2 big ones. Pacoda, a .336 hitter against left-handers last year with Kansas City, delivers as Johnson scores and Walker behind him.
And now the batter, Dick Schofield. And he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Schofield hitting .212. One of those runs against the record of Tim Scott, the other against Clements. And the throw down to second base, and again, the throw is late as Pacoda gets back in time.
Santiago, like a little child, and Christmas morning, about 11 in the morning, when he takes his new toys out to show them off. Santiago loves to show that arm off, and I'll tell you, if I had an arm like that, I'd love to show it off too. I don't blame him.
They're going to walk Schofield intentionally.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about Santiago's arm for a lot of years, and well, there's another throw to second base. He just throws it all over the place. But you know, this Ivan Rodriguez with Texas, he caught his first pin of 13 runners this year. I mean, he has got a cannon also. Sandy Alomar with the Cleveland Indians, another rifle. And this guy right here is going to be right up there with him, and that's Todd Hundley.
Hundley batting for the second time.
Once he gets his feet on the ground, he is going to be a fine major league catcher.
Well, swing and a miss for strike one. Yeah, if you're like Santiago, if you got it, flaunt it.
Why not?
Hundley struck out his first time up. He was in the ball game in a double switch. Sasser started behind the plate. Mackey with a base hit and 3 at-bats. And the base hit drove in a run for the Mets in their 3-run 4th inning. That you don't want to see. Because he does throw so much, he's going to have more errors than someone who's conservative. That pitch is strike. And
last year, no exception. He led the majors in errors by a catcher, and he has 6 already this year.
Pass balls, of course, not considered errors. They're another category. And those errors coming on bad throws, the majority of them. Mets leading 7-3. They have 2 in here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and runners at first and second. All the action coming with 2 men out. And there goes the runner at second, Pacoda. And the ball is fouled off, so the runners go back.
I think the Mets know something about Pat Clemens' move. It takes a long time to get to home plate. And with 2 outs, they have had 2 try to steal third in this inning. Howard Johnson successful. That double steal could have gotten the Mets another run.
And it's a foul tip, and that'll do it then. It goes as a strikeout. Hundley not agreeing with the call, but the umpire, Bob Davidson, said the bat was tipped by the ball, and you're out. So the Mets get 2 insurance runs on 2 hits, and they leave 2 in the score at the end of 8 innings of play here at Shea Stadium. The Mets 7, the Padres 3, and here's a word from Chevrolet.
Tim Burke in the game. Had the Mets not scored those 2 runs on that pinch hit 2-out double by Bill Pacoda, it would have been John Franco. But Jeff Torborg giving Tim Burke a chance to pitch an inning here, and then if he gets in trouble, they'll bring in Franco. Tim 1-0 on the year. His 7th appearance, and obviously his first appearance against the Padres this year.
His last 2 outings have been very good. And they're trying to work him back into where he was with Montreal. Actually, you go back to his last 4 outings, they have been good. Franco could not have gotten a save if he came in the ball game, so he's not losing anything in this spot. So the Mets leading by a score as 7-3, as Stillwell will lead it off for the Padres. Kurt Stillwell 1 for 3 in the ball game. And Tim Burke will be the 4th pitcher used by the Mets. And a sinking fastball for ball 1. Stillwell hitting .297 with no home runs, 5 RBIs. 3 for 5 in the 2 games that have been played between these two clubs so far this year. There's a strike, 1-1. Toronto defeated Oakland 3-0. That stops Oakland's 5-game winning streak. One and two. Toronto started their action, the game up on Baltimore. Yankees defeated Seattle 3-1.
Jack Morris in that game, a shutout for Jack Morris. He's now 4-2 for the Toronto Blue Jays. Mike Moore, the loser for Oakland.
And this ball up the middle for a base hit. Well, Stillwell with his 4th hit in the 2 games played so far between these two clubs. And it keeps the Padres' hopes alive as they go to a pinch hitter.
Number 30, Kevin Ward.
Kevin Ward will be the pinch hitter. Split his time between Vegas and San Diego last year. He was in 44 games with the Padres with 2 home runs, 8 runs batted in, hit .243 this year, hitting .188 with 1 home run and 3 runs batted in. That home run came as a pinch hitter. He's 2 for 6 as a pinch hitter, and he misses the fastball. Originally signed by the Philadelphia Phillies in the 6th round of the June 1983 draft. Well, he went too far, so it's strike 2.
I beg your pardon on that Toronto-Oakland score. Jimmy Key was the winner and Dave Stewart the loser. I had tomorrow's starting pitchers for the Blue Jays and the Athletics. It'll be Moore and Morris tomorrow. So Jimmy Key was the shutout winner tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Dave Stewart lost his 3rd ball game of the year.
Hard ground ball is short. Schofield Randolph to first base in time for the double play, and Randolph leads the National League in turning double plays. That's his 18th. Pretty good combination there, Tim.
Boy, with Schofield getting it to Willie quickly and Randolph with the pivot. Very quick hands at second base. Matter of fact, Schofield's throw to the center field side, and Randolph made a nice play. You're trying to make sure of 1. You'll take 2, but you want to make sure of 1 in that situation.
So the Mets get to, and Tony Fernandez the last chance for the Padres here in the 9th. Mets leading 7-3. Fernandez 1 for 4, and he attempts to bunt his way on and fouls it off, strike 1. Here's the final. The Bulls win it 96-88. Bulls now lead the series 3-2. One ball, 1 strike. Fernandez hitting .320 with 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. He's 3 for 9 in the 2 games of the series. And it's hit hard to Randolph. That's the ball game. So the Mets, after losing last night, even the series at 1 apiece with a victory here tonight, winning by a score of 7-3. Dwight Gooden, the winning pitcher. He's now 3-3 in the year. The losing pitcher was the starter, Jose Melendez. His record 4-1. His first loss that came in his first game start of the season. Eddie Murray's 2-run home run, putting the Mets on top. And the Mets now, when they have scored the first runs of a ball game or run of the ball game, now have a record of 18-0. And we'll be back right after this word from Lexus. Well, thanks, Roland. And the Mets win it by a score of 7-3. And the Nobody Beats the Wiz game summary. For the Padres, Gwynn had a single and a double. Melendez allowed 5 runs in 4 innings. He's the losing pitcher in the ballgame. His first loss, he had won 4 in a row in relief. And for the Mets, Murray with a 2-run home run in the first inning. His 401st home run. Gooden, his first win since April 21st. Makota with a pinch double and 2 RBIs to ice it for the Mets, and the Mets win it by a score of 7-3. But, Tim, I think the big play of the ballgame really didn't show up there in the Nobody Beats a Whiz summary, because it was a play that might go unnoticed if you weren't here really watching the ballgame.
That's exactly right. Jeff Ennis coming in relief of Paul Gibson. And with the bases loaded and 2 outs, the hard-hit ground ball by Gary Sheffield and Dave Magadan diving to his left. That certainly prevented at least 1 run. And then making the play to Willie Randolph at second base. Not only the Budweiser play of the game, but Dave Magadan is our Budweiser player of the game. That was a terrific play by Dave.
Got that throw off just in time to get the 4th play that ended the inning. And we'll be back with more right after this message from Bud Light.
Looking good. Get into Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up. Never let you down. You can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. Everything else is polite. Everything else is right. Keep your Bud Light.
Here we go again. Things you can do for $5 a day. Have a pair of trousers cleaned. Buy popcorn at the movies. Mail a very small package. Lease a Honda Accord LX for 24 months. I think you know what I would do. The Try Honda $5 a day leasing program. It comes to only $149 a month. Offer ends May 18th.
In this business, you need to know all you can about security. And I thought I did, until today. One of my customers handed me this Citibank Visa card, this new one. Look at this. Would you believe? It had her photo right on it, so no one else can use it. Such a simple idea, it's brilliant. You know, when something's important to me, I protect it. That's why I'll be carrying a Citibank card.
Not just Visa, Citibank Visa. Call 1-800-CITIBANK.
Admiral and Lady Billingsley of Devonshire. Lord and Lady Atherton of Sussex. Sir Alfred and Lady Sheffield of Dunsmore. And Bob of Buffalo.
New York Lotto. Hey, you never know.
Mets even the series against the San Diego Padres by taking tonight's game 7-3. Doc Gooden's record now 3-3 on the year. Mets Baseball 92 has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. By the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. New Jersey Bell, a Bell Atlantic company. By Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. By Coca-Cola. Be sure to stock up for all the Mets games with Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the real thing. By the ProStep Patch. It's a nicotine transdermal system available only by prescription. ProStep. By the 9X Yellow Pages. If it's out there, it's in here. And by your Lincoln Mercury dealers. Fans, some of our guests this evening will receive a Wizards 8000 electronic organizer from Sharp Electronics. From Sharp Minds come Sharp products. Also a gift from the Justin Boot Company, the world's largest maker of handcrafted boots since 1879. Fine quality boots for the entire family. Available at over 4,000 authorized Justin dealers nationwide. Folks, be with us again Friday night at 10:30 when the Mets take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Mets Baseball 92 is produced and directed by Jeff Mitchell. Associate producer Steve Olbaum. Our associate director was the birthday boy, Benny Sinopoli, 87 tonight. The announcers on the preceding telecast were approved and contracted for by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises. Executive producer Rick Miner. This has been a presentation of WWOR-TV, Channel 9 Sports. See you Friday from La La Land.